Some women are simply born rich, confident, and naturally magnetic to their desires. Let's be clear, this podcast is not for them. However, if you're a soul-driven, visionary, or entrepreneurial woman who's been on a mission to learn how to create a better future bursting to come out of you, welcome to my world. I'm Jo Warwick, and this is Rich, Sexy, and Free. I've dedicated most of my career to helping women get to their core power and unlock the missing pieces for their own unique success. You may already know me as the author of The Big Book of Love. With 30 years experience in psychology, embodiment, manifesting, and energetics, we will be exploring together the keys to becoming rich, sexy, and free. So if this excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform so you can stay up to date with the podcast. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Rich, Sexy, and Free. And I'm so pleased that you're joining me for this podcast episode. Now, we have been talking about the movement that's going to be happening for the name of the podcast as my brand is changing. And so I want to update you and just let you know that this is officially the last episode where we called Rich, Sexy, and Free. So this will be the end of season 2. And we're going to move into season 3 with the brand new name. So I'm really excited to be able to announce that the podcast will be called Glitches to Gold. And everything that you can find about everything that I do, the new website is called glitchestogold.com. It's still under my brand as Jo Warwick, but often not everybody can spell my last name. So Glitches to Gold, which really comes under the umbrella of the success alchemy. That's everything that we're doing now. This is what we're focusing on. This is where I've been moving towards, of really pinpointing this expertise. And I have been talking about what is success. And this is a question, of course, I've asked in so many ways. Over the last, I think we're up to, this will be 70 episodes in total, over the last 2 seasons of Rich, Sexy, and Free. The interviews that I've had with my guests and by myself and the questions, we've been exploring how do you have a rich, sexy, and free life? But we've been exploring how do you have money, your relationship with money, your relationship with love, your relationship with that freedom and everything in between. And that's because I started my journey, if you don't know, of course, as a therapist, I started my journey basically becoming an expert in love. My book is called The Big Book of Love, Loving Yourself, Dating with Love, Loving Relationships. And I was looking at the foundation of who you are, who we are. And I was published as a psychotherapist in therapeutic journals for an article called Smothering the Silent Abuse, also for the Mind and Body Link. So I've been doing this for a very long time. You can also find me on blogging. I did that for 8 years on places from Tiny Buddha to the Huffington Post, and always exploring living life to the best that you can have it. And for me, when I think about living life, that includes business. I've had businesses, I've grown businesses, I've had 4 successful businesses, I've business consulted, I've worked in businesses, I worked as of everything up to managing director, sales director, business development director. I've worked in startups, I've worked in small to medium sized companies. For me, it's about exploring success in different levels. And that's because, of course, as you've heard me say, I am obsessed with success. And that obsession with success started from the career of training for my gold medal dream, basically, and working my way up ever since I was 4. But success also meant for me being on stage and singing, and it meant for me that I was trying to be popular, and it meant trying to be the best therapist I could be and world class, and so many things I did achieve. So many things I did achieve, and others I didn't. But each journey, as I collected these letters behind my name, in front of my name, all the ways that I wanted to be the best. Even when I took up fencing, like for me, it was like I took up fencing for 3 years. And the first thing I found myself thinking about was, how could I train to compete as a senior in the Olympics? Because that was the way my brain worked. And when I was surfing, it was always about how can I be the best? But what I've learned through this journey of being slightly an overachiever, but really it was about wanting to know what success is. And if you've been following me on Instagram this week, I have been sharing some little drops about what I've been up to. And I've been exploring or sharing about little things from the fact that I've bought this glorious new tea cup. It's a cup for drinking tea and for coffee. But as you can imagine, it's gold. And honestly, it's designer and it's beautiful. And it's got flowers on it and it's gold rimmed. It's not really gold, but you know what I mean. It's incredibly shiny and beautiful. And I was saying about the fact that I love drinking tea and coffee. I drink Earl Grey tea or I drink coffee. And I really believe in having a beautiful mug. And I thought this is about how much I've changed. For me, success ranges from everything from the moments that I move through in the minutiae, the small moments that are just pure little diamonds. Well, yesterday I got this mug and then I took myself off to the Fitzwilliam Museum and I saw my favourite painting in the whole world, which is a Dutch artist. It's a still life. I can never pronounce his name, but it's a still life of some flowers. And honestly, I can spend half an hour looking at this picture over and over again. I have repeatedly been to this. And I also saw a glorious Cézanne yesterday and some Monet and fed my soul. And then I tootled off to the Gonville Hotel, which is, I think, a 4-star hotel. It's very beautiful, lovely Bentley and stuff like that. It's all very nice. And I tootled around on my bike. And then today I have been for a lovely swim at my favourite lido. And I've had conversations with people at the lido and conversations with people en route to the lido and on the way back, and little joyful moments, even just talking to our maintenance guy who takes care of the area where this property is. And for me, that's as much success as well, of those moments of just spreading joy, being in joy, having joyful conversations, helping people when they ask, being in this kind of small community feeling. And not small because I'm small, but because they're just up close and personal. That for me is also success. And it gets so underrated in our life experience, particularly if we were to go with what's in the world and social media. We've all got to be big, big, big. But it's like, actually, the true juice of life is these little moments that make up everything. But also other success can be having resolutions. I've had some brilliant resolutions in the last few days with issues I needed to get sorted with this property. And things have just flowed, and problems that I've had, and I put them down, and finally it was like, oh, here's the answer. Either I've received the answer or somebody's given me the answer, and I found the solution. Now that is very much for me about success flow, that you are not getting stuck in things, but it's resolution, resolution, resolution. Everything can be resolved, and it's in that solution flow we get to come into success. So there's that as well. But also today, on the other scale, I got invited to be featured in Goss Magazine alongside the absolutely incredible Melanie Anne Layer, who built Alpha Femme, which not only I think is at 9 or 10 figures or something like that, but she is phenomenal, and what she's created is phenomenal, and the work that she's done. And the women who have been inside of Goss Magazine are complete trailblazers, and some are friends, some are not. And to be personally invited today was also the other side of going, oh, how lovely to be personally invited and to be seen as someone who would be in that same magazine. It's coming out just before my birthday, my 50th birthday. And so I was like, oh, that's really glorious. And again, though, it was making me think about what is success? What is it that matters to me now? And that's a question I'm always going to ask you. Is I know for myself in my life, I have fallen over and over again for wanting that success to be recognition and being the best and having my gold medal in all ways, which is how I ended up collecting all these ridiculous titles and recognition. And I was thinking about the fact that I actually got, back in the day when I was blogging, I actually got invited to write for the Huffington Post by Ariana Huffington. And now that seems, oh wow, isn't that amazing? And it was amazing. And it was a time. Once we're in our full success flow, the universe asks for discernment. And I've often described it as being the goalie, because once you've got into the flow, once you've got into your success rhythm and you are unattached, that's the funny thing, is the unattached state where not only are you no longer fighting to get out of something, which is the glitch, getting out of those glitch moments, those repetitive patterns, and you've started to get into a vibe, a flow, and you start to see things and you're balanced and you're feeling good and you're unattached. I feel so unattached to social media at this moment and unattached to this invitation. I'm delighted, I'm honored, I'm excited by the idea of it, but I'm excited by what it represents to the universe and my success flow. I haven't said yes yet. The thought of doing the photo shoot seems super fun, and to be with these other women seems super fun. And yet I'm still sitting with, is it right for me? Because I know I have fallen for the glitz and the glamour in the past. The fool's gold, the expectation, the seeming, if I have this, will people think I'm that? In a positive way. Will they think I'm good enough? And so, really taking this discernment with the universe being the goalie, like in the football goal, as the universe starts to show you your own success flow, you will get these like balls being kicked at you. And some of them are so delightful and easy. And yes, hell yes, absolutely. But others will be things that you have desired. If you had asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't be hesitating. I would have literally jumped on in, both feet first, and gone, look at me. But last year, I got signed by a modeling agency. And that was also an example of being swept away by something, which now seems ridiculous. I'm glad I did it and it was fun, but it's, oh, does it really mean anything? Now I feel like none of this really means anything about who I am. And does it matter to what the universe and I are playing with, and what I teach is that you are really only ever in a conversation with the universe and your own success flow. And if the universe is inside of your head as well as outside of you, then really it's like, well, I love this. I love what it's showing me, but do I have to say yes? Do I have to say yes? Whatever that's for. And if it's there, do you have to get super excited? The excitement is inevitable. But that's why I think the discernment of stepping back and going, but is this really right for me? Or am I getting swept away by somebody else wanting me? And it's a bit like dating. I've had women I worked with back in the day, particularly when I was specializing in love and relationships. I always remember one of my clients, Karen. I lived in San Francisco and not being able to date, and her friends telling her you'll never meet anybody, and she was straight, and literally we started working together, and she got asked out like 5 times in a week in the coffee shop and stuff, because she had changed. She had changed her vibration, her attitude, she was open, her frequency, she was in her success flow. It's like dating. You don't have to say yes to everybody. Just because somebody asks you, just because there's an opportunity, the universe doesn't expect you to say yes. It expects you to have discernment. It expects you to be able to say, oh, that's absolutely lovely and I really love it, but at another time, yes. Or I absolutely love you asking me, that's an honor, but no. Or this is super fucking great for me. Yes, yes. If it's a hell yes, then jump and without resistance. If it's a no, you'll know. And if there's a wobble, really it's a no. And learning to trust your inner wisdom and your inner success flow and know that there's always more. That's what was making me smile about this, is the fact that how far I've come to be offered something so delightful and delicious, which I would have let up in the past, is going, yes, but does it benefit me in the way that I want it to? Not Yes, I could be seen and it would get me exposure and it would get me all these things, but would it benefit me in the way that is right and good for me now and what I want and what I teach? Does it have the same alignment that I want now? Because I'm different. What I teach is different and what I believe is different. So, does it work for me to have this? So, I'm going to sit with this, but I want you to think about, how would you respond? This week I spoke with a client. We were looking at her, she's a manifesting generator, and we were looking at how learning to trust her ability to be with the quietness in herself, to know and listen to her own sacral response, so that she can trust her hell yes and hell no. For me, it is a very light and subtle thing, and it's very responsive in the moment. For you, you might need a bit of a moment, but it is the response. Having that response is always clear. It's just how well we get at being able to listen to it, how we accept it, honor it. It gets louder the more we accept it. And noticing also that for me, this feels a bit like an opportunity of growth. The question is, which way? Is it the growth to say yes, or is it the growth to say no? What is it actually saying to the universe? What I want? If I know that there is always more, always unfolding, bigger and better, lining for me in the best possible way, which decision would I make? And it's interesting, as you're listening to this, I wonder which decision you would make. And if you want to let me know, reach out on Instagram. Instagram is now, you can find me as just the Jo Warwick. You can find that, or just head on over as ever to glitchestogold.com. I should say as ever, but that's the new website, glitchestogold.com. If you find me and you come across Rich, Sexy and Free, richsexyandfree.com will be directed for a while. But yeah, you can find everything there. And if you're liking the sound of this and you really are ready to dive on in and you want to check out the Success Alchemy Masterclass series, which is Undercharged, which is all about the glitch, and then part 2, Glitch Redefined, and part 3, the Success Shift, which is alchemizing the glitch forever. This masterclass will lead you from beginning to end to really shift into your success flow as you start to see responses. The women who were part of the Success Shift, the conversations I've had of people getting in touch and saying about, oh, somebody just offered me a job and this just turned up and this just, I love that. I love that because we get into our success flow, and it's always been the magic. I have a program called Soul Flow, which was a program back in the day, and I loved it. And it is the same understanding. And if you want to know more about the sort of manifesting side, do go and head over to the YouTube channel, which is now called Glitches to Gold as well. But really, if you head on into Undercharged, start the journey, glitchestogold.com now has all the links for everything you want to find out about the free success hacks, the masterclass, the podcast, the YouTube, and also the Success Alchemy portal where everything sits if you want to look at my other programs. But it's exciting times, and I'm celebrating in all ways, because as I sit here recording this, I'm looking at my beautiful cup, which I'm about to have my tea, and I'm looking forward to have a drink of my tea. And can you see I'm as excited about my tea as I am about the offer today? And I'm as excited as the work that I did this week with a client, I've got another client this evening, as I am about the fact that I'm going to go and tootle off to resolve something that's been bugging the shit out of me for ages. I have a solution to something for the property that I will be heading off to the DIY shop, which is going to give me so much pleasure. So don't underrate the small things, because it's the small things that open up and build momentum to allow the big things to come in. And when they do come, there's still discernment, because is it right for me? Is it right for who I want to be? Is it right for where I'm going? But if you're still in that phase where you're trying to get out of glitches and repetitive patterns, then head on over to the masterclass series, Success Alchemy, and it is the Glitches to Gold masterclass. So I would love you to have that. I'm sending you so much love, sharing from a very reflective place as we come to the end of Rich, Sexy and Free, this phase, this name. And we're letting her drop. with such love and gratitude this process that has been the journey of Rich, Sexy and Free that came out of Rediscover the Magic, how much I have grown and changed in the involvement of the initial program that this name came from, and all the women I've worked with, and the way that the podcast was birthed, and all the amazing, incredible women I have met and spoken with on the podcast over in season 1 and 2, particularly in season 1. So many amazing interviews, which you can go and check out with some real interesting women. We get real on this podcast. When I do interviews, there's no fluff. It's very real. And women have shared some incredible insights, particularly around their relationship with money as well, where they had started from and what happened. So you can always go and check out the back catalogue, always available. Again, you can get it from everywhere you're listening to your podcast, but again, from Glitches to Gold. So that is also available. But let's celebrate that we will be diving into season 3. I'm going to take a week off, and then we're going to launch into season 3 on the 10th of October. So that will be, we're going to take a week off and then launch again on the 10th of October. So I'm excited to step into fully Glitches to Gold and to be sharing that with you. Sending you so much love. I would love to hear from you, connect with you on any of my social media platforms on Facebook or Instagram. Oh yes, and I have reopened my Facebook group, so you can come and join the Success Alchemist Facebook group and come and join us inside that community as well. Sending you so much love. Take care. Bye-bye. It's been great to connect with you today, but before you leave, if you want to find out more about how I can help you personally, or check out any of my books, products, or coaching packages, just simply go ahead and visit richsexyandfree.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the podcast.